Hi everyone, welcome to our training day, where we will talk about what's new in the ARCHLine.XP 2023. Let's get started. Here you will find all the topics we will be discussing. And I also would like to draw your attention to the icons in the top right corner, where you will find our different articles and videos for all the topics we will discuss. So let's start with the new integrated rendering engine, which is an Osprey rendering engine. Let's talk about a bit more presets. In terms of presets or settings, the low, the Q1, the medium, the Q2, and the custom, the QX levels allows you to consciously create the best quality image in few steps. The real-time draft rendering or the preview render in real time is still available, which automatically tracks and regenerates the image when changes occur in the project. The Q1 settings is provide fast and preliminary images. We recommend to use it in the beginning and the rendering process, as it quickly produces a worst quality image at low resolution. The Q2 presets produce a cleaner, better quality image. This is the next step of the rendering process. It is suitable for medium resolution and for approaching the final image. And finally, the QX custom settings, which can be adjusted to the user's need. Values can be individually specified based on the number of light sources and model complexity. With the default settings, which is the samples per pixel 10 and render pass count 30, it is suitable for creating the final image at Full HD or higher resolution. Now let's talk about these custom settings. The first one is the sample per pixel. This refers to the number of ray tracing samples calculated per pixel in the image. It adjusts anti-aliasing, which smooths the jagged edges and visible jaggies along the object edges and the shadows. Increasing the number of pixel samplings will result in a cleaner, better quality image. The value can be, of course, only modified in this QX custom settings preset. The usage recommendation or the suggestion you can see on the screen. You should choose a value higher than 10 for scenes with complex lighting and value lower than 5 for draft renders. There is a third recommendation, for example, in a classic style apartment where decorative moldings and profile door frames are typically present. These elements have a common characteristic that relative to the size image, very different light intensities run parallel to each other at very small distances, sometimes within a few pixels. In this case, we should apply the recommendation for the thin, rounded edges, meaning we should set a relatively high value between 50 and 80. The next custom settings is the render pass count, which represents the number of rendering steps. The Osprey rendering engine uses a progressive rendering method, which means that it further refines the generated image with each step. Increasing the number of iterations or render pass count will increase the time required for the rendering, but it will also increase and improve the quality of the image. The required number of iterations greatly depends on the scene being rendered. You can see the recommendations or suggestions for the usage here as well. Scenes with complex lighting, detailed geometry, and 5 textures, required value higher than 10, and the recommended number of iterations or render pass counts for the final render is 30. Our next feature is the denoiser module, which reduces the noise in the entire scene after rendering is completed or interrupted. The image noise refers to the graininess in the image. The denoiser module reduces the area with the image noise, thereby improving the image quality. It is important to note that if the rendering process hasn't reached 50% yet, the denoiser can be disabled. If you stop the process, this dialog box will appear on your screen, and it will ask if you want to apply the denoiser. If you choose the no option, the rendering will stop immediately, and you will get this grainy results without the denoiser. If you proceed with the denoiser, you will get this smoother image in the right side of the screen. Our next point related to the rendering is the sharper detail post-processing tool, which is, when enabled, reduces the noise and enhances the sharp details in the rendering image. If you disable it, you will achieve a much different effect. The scene will appear much softer and smoother, as you can see on the right. This is a post-processing tool, meaning that the result will be immediately visible. Finally, let's take a look what changed in the rendering dialog. We already discussed the main changes in details, but another important aspect mentioned here is the sunlight settings, which is a crucial option because if the room receives insufficient lighting, the rendered image may have a bluish tint. To avoid this, we could use the cloudy daylight option in the rendering window, as you can see here, instead of the clear daylight option. The other important thing which is changed and differs from the previous version is that the background brightness scale is different. So we should choose 10 for brighter daytime scene and a lower value for the evening images. And now we can move on to the optimization, specifically focusing on the dialog panels. As you can see here, the stair panel has received a new design built on a familiar layout. So now we can use this in the 2023 version. And the room and area also have been modified, but not just modified, but expanded with new features. Now this new menu, the room book order, help us to change the order of the content of the stamp. Another major improvement is that the room name in the room stamp placed on the floor plan is now editable. You can now modify it with the marker or select it from this drop-down list with the arrow. Another great optimization is the graphical editing of object, images, and stairs directly on the floor plan. Now you can edit stairs not only in the dialog, but also by clicking on the arrow visible in the animation, as you can see here from the floor plan. When selecting an object, two arrows will appear. You can also see it here in the animation. The first arrow is used to indicate the direction, while the second arrow allows us to resize the object and graphically change its size. We have also modernized the design sheet. Managing them have been simplified with the introduction of the layout property dialog. Important parameters now can be directly adjusted using the markers on the drawing, as you can see here. So the drawing scale, the architecture scale, the phases, the wall-fill pattern, and the color schemes also can be changed from the markers. We are all familiar with the find material command, but now it works in reverse too. All you need to do is select the desired material from the Design Center, and then click on the gear icon and choose the find material command. This way, the program will show you where this particular material is shown and used on the surface. Editing a spline with control vertices generally provides a final control over reshaping a small section of it, then editing with the fit points. These control vertices are shown in purple dots and the fit points shown in blue dots. we have two more optimization topics. One of them is the calculator. The built-in calculator is used to input numerical values in the plan, of course. The calculator becomes available when you select a dimension or size label, and you can enter values directly using your number keypad, or you can calculate the values and formulas using the calculator functions. If you don't need it, you can switch it back to the classic dynamic input field, and you can disable it in the option unit and angles panel, as you can see on the screen. And our last and final optimization point, the automatic wall extension, which means that if the endpoint of the wall is fall inside another wall, the program will automatically create a T connection. Our next big topic is the color schemes, and I want to show you these icons here in the top corner. So if you click on it, I just clicked on it.
Hi everyone.
You will get our tutorial video, and you can learn more about the current topic. And here you can also reach our help desk, where you find very helpful articles and more details about the topic. So please check them out if you if you're not already checked our tutorials and help desk informations. So the color scheme is a graphical override method that serves to display a group of elements or rooms based on any of their properties and present the content of your project in a very understandable way. The color scheme is based on an element type. As you can see here, you can choose the element type, and then its property and an assigned value, which you can choose here. The color schemes according to the properties are templates that can be saved. So by changing the templates, the model can be presented according to different aspects. So color schemes help you understand the content of the project very easily. In addition to the room, other elements of the building can also be displayed, like cabinet widths or something, so that the customer can easily understand the complexity within a building or any part of the project. Our next topic is the cutaway 3D view. The extent of the 3D view allows us to narrow the complex 3D view down to the specific area we are currently working on or editing. This is useful when we work with a larger model, but focusing on a relatively small part of the design. You can initiate this from the view 3D model or from the bottom at the status bar with the third icon here, the create cutaways 3D view. After initiating the command, we should draw a rectangle. I will show you in a minute in this animation. So we will draw a selection rectangle on the floor plan to define the desired area, and the program will display a new 3D view. And this cut region can be modified as you wish, as you can see here in the screen. This cut region on the floor plan can be modified anytime by clicking on the rectangle in the 3D view and in the 2D view, and selecting the offset command. Another important tool, which is also seen on the screen, these two markers, which allows us to update the cutaway 3D view on all levels or only on the active levels. Additionally, you can delete the selection rectangle itself on the 2D, but the 3D view will remain unaffected. ARCHLine.XP 2023 allows for the import of the rich text or RTF format. Rich text documents can be imported from Microsoft Word and many other text editing programs. When importing RTF, text into the ARCHLine.XP, most of the formatting preserved, but you can also have the ability to edit the text within ARCHLine.XP, just like in Word or other text editors. A very good new feature is that ARCHLine.XP 2023 supports the EFC4. You know, EFC4 is an advanced schema of the EFC 2.3, and its most significant innovation is the export and import of the material textures. The next topic is the wall dimensioning style. From now on, the dimension set can be assigned to create a new wall. It is possible to get to set which dimension chain types are generated. The option can be turned on and off. We will check it out in ARCHLine in a minute. So here we are in ARCHLine, and we find this command in annotate, building, and wall dimensioning style. We have two defaults, the interior and exterior walls, but we can create our own, and already created it. So I delete it, and let's create a very simple style with the add button. I will name it on, and I choose edit, and I would like to show the opening exterior wall with opening width. I will edit, and also the exterior walls with corner points. For example, just to be a very simple example, we can also choose the dimension style of the openings, but I will not modify it now. So I will accept it with OK. The important thing is that we should mark it as currently used. So I click that, and which I mentioned before, here is the switch for enable or disable the automatic dimensioning. However, we can also access it when we draw a wall. So I will draw a wall, and if I start it, here you can find the automatic wall dimensioning again, so you can disable and enable it. So let's draw a very simple 3 walls, not too much. You can see now the automatic dimensioning is working, and I also set up the opening width. So I will place a window, and I also place a door here. And now you can see that all I set it up in the dimensioning style. We can see when I just started to draw my building. So it is a very useful new feature. Okay. Our next topic is a 2-point perspective. The command allows us for directly set the perspective view with just 2 clicks in the 2D view. In this case, the field of view will be horizontal. We will also check this out in the ARCHLine just for a moment. So we can find it in the view perspective, define view by 2 points. And if I choose 2 points, you can see the 3D view already changed, and I have a new perspective initiated from the 2D view. Our next topic is the design variants, which is very useful for the interior designers. Now it is possible to display different layer variations in multiple 3D windows, allowing for easy comparison of different versions of the design. The layer variations can be selected in the LOG or level of geometry settings. This is actually a more global change executed in the layer management. In fact, the layer variations now can be stored and associated with a specific 3D view. Let's also check it out in the program in a minute. I already have set up the layer variations. So you can see here we have a classic and a modern variation here. I will add a new 3D view to display 2 of them, and I will set it both to the stairs. Yeah. Okay, and now we will build our model, regenerate our model. So the view 8 is in the top. So I select the view 8 and I will select here the custom one. And for the layer variations, I want to go with the modern one for the first, and I will set it with OK, accept it with OK. And after the generating, we should see the modern design variant on the top. Yeah. For the next one, which is the view 9, I will select it. And I also choose the build 3D model. I select the view 9, also choose the custom one, the layer variation, and the classic. And I will accept it with OK. And we should see now 2 design variations in a minute in our project. Yeah. I will make it a little bit bigger. But now you can see we have 2 different design variations, which is a very good way to show the customer the variants of our project. Okay, let's see the next topic, which is the KBB multiple handles. Now, in the new version, there is an option to place more than 1 handle on the front of a storage furniture, allowing for addition of different handles to the same drawer or door. I also show you this in the program, just in a little small example. I have already prepared this cabinet, and I will select this drawer, and in the handle menu I will create a new one, and I will apply this gold one, put it on the left side, and I should offset it a little bit. And with the create button, I will create our first handle. Then with the plus button, I can create another one. I choose the same handle, I choose the other side of the drawer, and I will create it. So now we have 2 handles on the same drawer. To save time and not doing it on the other 2 drawers, there is an option to copy this and place it here on the second one, and I will also place it on the third one. And now we have done very easily this little small drawer. Okay. And basically, our last topic is the construction animation, which is visually describes the construction sequence with the program timelines. Construction simulation offers a visual representation of the project construction stages, and it is a perfect complement to your 2D drawings and schedules. It makes easy to understand the project. The output, as you can see, this 3D animation with short clips generated from periods and selections assigned to the periods. To initiate the command, you have to go to the View, Animation and Construction Simulation, and then this animation timeline at the bottom of the window will appear. By default, 3 rows are created for each new project, which of course can be modified, deleted, or additional rows can be added. These rows represent these rows represent events and or activities and are already named. You can add new rows, as I mentioned, in the activity menu, or delete them as needed. Sub-events or sub-activities also can be created within them, and different periods can be assigned to the specific activities. This Gantt chart also can be exported to Excel format for editing and providing further assistance in the design and scheduling process. So basically, that was it. Thank you for your attention, and I really hope that you find it useful.